If you want to hear new episodes of the show 1 week early, plus bonus episodes and unlimited access to more of Texas Monthly's reporting and commentary on the state, subscribe to Texas Monthly at texasmonthly.com/audio. You can find that link in the show notes for this episode.
Texas Monthly.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Viva Tejano, a Texas Monthly podcast about Tejano music, told by the people who make it and live it. I'm your host, JB Sauceda. This week, I sat down in the studio with the queen of Conjunto, Linda Escobar. Linda is an absolute pillar in the world of Tejano music. She's a member of the Tejano Roots Hall of Fame and a recipient of the Tejano Music Awards Lifetime Achievement Award. She's one of the defining female voices in Conjunto and helped spread the music globally alongside her partner, Kenji Katsube. Alice, Texas, Linda's hometown, is recognized by the state as the birthplace of Tejano music. And she grew up as a child star in the Conjunto world, touring on the Caravan of Stars alongside her father, the famed singer and guitarist Eligio Escobar. The hit that launched Linda's career in 1965, Friolitos Pintos, was a song she and her dad wrote together. To honor her father and other Mexican-American veterans of World War II, she founded El Veterano Conjunto Festival, which has been running for more than 20 years now. We kicked off our conversation with a memory from the Johnny Canales show in 1999, with a performance by Ramon Ayala at an unlikely spot, the Super Splash Adventure Water Park in Edinburgh, in front of a massive crowd of dancing, swimming Tejano music fans. Here's my conversation with Linda Escobar. And so the way I wanted to kick things off was to show you a video, and I want to get your reactions about, like, what are you thinking? What are you feeling when you watch this? What are you remembering?
Aquí está la canción. Richard, you got it. Eso.
Just a beautiful reunion party of Hispanics, both Chicanos and, people from Mexico, just one big happy party. And thanks to Johnny, he was able to make it happen.
Did you used to watch this pretty regularly?
Yes, when I was in town, if I wasn't out, on a gig, or if I had come in at 4 or 5 in the morning from the gig and I was sleeping late, yeah. But yeah, when I was home in leisure, I would definitely watch the Johnny Canales show on a regular, mainly with my parents after church or after having breakfast. It was just our relaxation time and just enjoying the music, and of course Dad, remembering the good old days when we would tour with all of these musicians that would come out on his show.
Yeah, tell me about touring with them. What was that like for you?
Oh gosh, it was wonderful. I got to meet not just all these artists from Mexico, movie stars that, I used to watch, on theater, the drive-in theaters and stuff. But people, I made so many friends all over the United States, and being in the caravans, it was called a Caravan of Stars, La Caravana de Artistas o de Estrellas, that Paulino Bernal would put together because we were artists of his label. So, they became my family, all these musicians, the original Los Dinos, Selena's dad, Ramon Ayala, he and his partner, music partner, Cornelio Reina, were Los Relámpagos, and they were, getting started, and Carlos Guzman. I mean, there were just so many. Tony de la Rosa, all these artists, became our music family. And I was on tour with, my father, so I was always under his guidance, and I just loved it, touring, and we toured in a Camaro, Dad and I, while the band went on, in a van or a station wagon, and it was just great. It was I was living a beautiful life as a child. I mean, a little girl from Alice, Texas, a small little town, and here I am in Disneyland, at the age of 8 or 9 years old, and that was just absolutely magical.
And tell me about your dad.
My dad was awesome. How can I say? The greatest father in the whole wide world. My dad was already a music conjunto singer and recording artist when I was begging him, to allow me to get into the industry as well. And so I was very blessed and lucky to have been born in the Escobar family. He was funny. He was strict. He was very intelligent. He was admired and loved by many, many people. And he was just a very kind-hearted man.
Veterano, soy señores de la guerra más terrible. Fui guerrero, soy mexicano de raza. Por la mano del destino, nacido en el extranjero.
What do you, obviously you're a musician as well, but like what sort of influences did he have on you?
Oh, influences. Every single one, everything, who I am is how my father was, just dedicated, humble, just generous, good to people, just everything, he told me, if you get into this business, into this music business, you need to get in it with both feet, you not one in, one out, but full-heartedly. There's going to be times when you don't feel like going to a gig, and you don't, but you belong to the public now, and you have to give it your heart. He did tell me you have to sing from the heart. Don't ever copy anybody, and just respect everyone. Everybody has a talent, and the beauty of it is that everybody's talent is unique.
Now, you entered into the conjunto kind of genre in particular at a time when, even now, I feel like conjunto is still very male-dominated. What was that like, cutting that road for yourself?
I guess as a child, I didn't feel that I had a struggle because there were very few females in the conjunto genre back then in the 60s. Of course, I'll be celebrating 60 years in January of 2025 as a recording artist because I recorded my first record when I was 7. So as a child, I didn't feel like, I had a struggle with or challenges by being, female. My dad was very highly respected. So, of course, they were going to feel that way towards me, too. And, I had a hit song that sold over 1 million records, Frijolitos Pintos. So I was very highly respected among all the industry people and musicians. And so I really didn't feel it at the time. But afterwards, after I got married, that I, had a tejano band. We had keyboards and electric guitar and everything, and it was a challenge trying to get big venues. They would hire us in nightclubs and things like that. But it was difficult. Back then, there was not a lot of females in the industry, so we were, not accepted 100% like the other male vocalists. So it was hard.
And you said you felt that more so as you were trying to break more of the kind of tejano subset of it as opposed to conjunto. What do you think led to that?
I think that I was molded as a child. I mean, the conjunto was instilled in me as a child. So you could see that, passion that was so deeply rooted in me that, I mean, there was no argument that I was conjunto. So I really didn't have to fight to be recognized as a conjunto artist. It was a given. Tejano was different because I was wanting to try, keyboards. I wanted to show my versatility as being able to sing tejano as well. I mean, you gotta hold the notes differently, longer, and just different structure of the whole genre. So I was probably just getting my feet wet, so I wasn't recognized as a tejano artist yet.
Do you have any frustration over that? In retrospect, do you feel like there's work that was left undone, or?
No, I don't really have any frustration because I'm very proud of being known as the queen of conjunto because I love conjunto music. I mean, it's the music of the humble low and middle class Hispanic family, and I love representing my barrio. So no, tejano perhaps wasn't 100% for me, but I'm happy that I can still perform it, in my conjunto shows where I can show, like I said, the versatility. And I also love to sing country and western as well, bilingual.
I've posed this question to people, because it felt like for me, in my experience, the music was really prevalent and, it was on the radio stations everywhere growing up. And then it felt like it kind of went away and like it was harder to find and not quite as prevalent. And so I've kind of asked, like, what happened to the music? Like, do you agree? Do you feel that it didn't?
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. When Dad and I used to go on tour, we'd stop in every single town, every small town, big city, and there was always a tejano or a Mexican American radio station in every. All we had to do was look for the antenna, and we'd stop and we'd get an interview right there and then, and they'd play our 45s, because every time we'd go on tour, Dad would get 2 or 3 boxes of our 45s, our latest recording. And then all of a sudden, those antennas where we would stop at the radio station were no longer Hispanic. They were no longer Mexican American. It was like they became more norteño. They were like owned by people from Mexico. And so they didn't, our music was not in their programming. So we were not allowed to have an interview or they would say, thank you for the record, and we'd give it to the program director, and that was it. So I think that that's what happened. I think that the bigger corporations and came in and bought all these, independently owned radio stations, and a lot of us Tejanos lost out.
I've heard people in the past, I mean, even just within my own family, talk about sometimes Tejanos have a tendency to be a little bit of crabs in the bucket, right? Like kind of pull each other down. Like, were there cultural aspects of like what contributed to the music having some challenges?
Well, I can say that for Conjunto, I would say that we were, the struggle or the downfall was that they considered Conjunto as cantina music, as, it wasn't as upper class as, let's say, a big orchestra or a tejano was. So when we had weddings and quinceañeras, they would always choose a tejano band over a conjunto band. Unless, you had a huge hit on radio, and the father of the quinceañera, the parents, or the parents that were going to pay for the wedding, if they were huge Conjunto fans, well, then, we had a chance. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard to how could you say, compete against orchestras and tejano bands as me being a Conjunto.
Do you feel in some ways like TikTok and the internet and the way that the internet is shifted towards like whatever you really like is kind of what the internet shows you, And like I find Conjuntos like in my TikTok feed now, and it's like really fascinating to me that this music that I had to kind of go search for is now just showing up on my front door. Like, do you think that there's an opportunity for Conjunto and Tejano and really all of it to kind of take a bigger stage in a way?
I think so. I'm never going to give up hope. I think that Conjunto now is worldwide because, and I know it is, because I have a lot of friends in Japan, Japanese Conjunto bands, close friends of mine. Of course, Kenji Katsubi, who passed away in 2003. He was my music partner and dear close friend. He introduced Conjunto to Japan. And then there's the Conjunto Festival in San Antonio, the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center, that have it every year in Rosedale Park. And they have bands, Conjunto bands from the Netherlands, which is Dwayne Verheyden. Then they have from Spain, Conjunto San Antonio, and like I said, Los Periquitos, Conjunto J from Japan. I mean, they just come from all over the world, and I just feel that we definitely have a chance, and I think that Conjunto and Tejano, we're not just surviving, we're blooming, and we're getting out there.
Yeah, my dad sent me multiple videos of a guy, I think from like Switzerland, like a young man who plays accordion that he's like freaked out about.
Yeah, he's from the Netherlands.
It's the Netherlands,
yeah,
that's right.
Dwayne Verheyden. Yeah, he plays Flaco Jimenez style.
Yeah, it's really great.
Good, yes.
Now, you mentioned Japan. Like, why and how did the music Conjunto like get so big and like adopted in Japan?
Well, like I was saying, Kenji, he went to a concert where Flaco Jimenez was playing. But before that, he was listening to a Ry Cooder album, and he heard the sound of an accordion that he had never heard before. And he focused in on that and he said, what is that instrument? So it was Flaco Jimenez, right? So he found out it was a diatonic accordion. And so he ordered one, mail ordered one, and it came in, and he taught himself. And then he started Conjunto there in Osaka, Japan. And then he was asked to perform at the Conjunto Festival in San Antonio. And the people just went crazy. Because he brought, his musicians, his bajo sexto player, his bass player, and his drummer. So the whole four-piece, they were all Japanese.
And now you and Kenji were married at one point, correct? Or?
We were going to get married, but he passed away from cancer. Yeah, we were together, I guess, as boyfriend and girlfriend for 5 years. And he was the love of my life. And
really?
I just get choked up about it because I wish he was still here. But I learned a lot from him, and he did take me to Japan, and I got to perform over there with him, and it was just a wonderful time. Probably the best 5 years of my life.
And you wrote El Corrido de Kenji about him, right?
Yes, one night around 3 a.m, I started thinking about it, and I just got a pen and a paper and I started writing. And then I couldn't, how to say, put it all together like I wanted. So I contacted my friend Rosa Canales Perez from the Valley, and she helped put it together. So, we co-wrote it. And I think it turned out great. People love that corrido.
Él era Kenji Katsubi.
How does music help you process your grief and your emotions?
Oh, it's so comforting. I mean, to sing is like an intensified prayer. It really touches your heart, and you close your eyes and you kind of just relive the memories. It's just very deep-rooted, very passionate.
Do you listen to the song at all? Or do you prefer to play it?
I prefer to play it, yes. I mean, I do hear it from time to time when they play it on the radio or on internet radio, but I prefer to perform it. I always have it in my repertoire, El Corrido de Kenji. Yeah, a lot of people miss him and remember him, and it's just a very touching song.
Now, you gave me a shirt for your Conjunto festival.
Yes.
What was the origination of that?
My dad, when he passed away in 1994 of cancer, he asked me to always remember to honor the veterans. So I grieved really, really hard and deep when my dad passed away. So I had a dream 5 years after his death that he was upset with me because after all that he had taught me and all that he had left me, that I wasn't doing anything about it. And so the next morning I woke up and I said, it's time for me to honor the veterans in memory of my father, Escobar. And so I'm going to put together like a festival where with different bands and have military ceremonies and honor our veterans and raise that money to give scholarships to children that have a God-given talent in Conjunto and Tejano, because maybe their parents don't have the ability, the capability of encouraging them, of helping them in their career. So maybe that's my role. Like my father helped me, I need to help other children.
Yeah, I think there's like some videos floating around out there of, I think, some like Japanese girls dressed up like you. I mean, what does that mean to have that kind of impact? Like not only here, but just around the world.
It just blows me away. It feels great. I mean, to see, and they even have that same little dance that I have. It's like. I feel like they feel it. I mean, I'm just very honored, and it just blows me away and just makes me feel like that I have an influence in Conjunto music to the other side of the world.
Is there something that you haven't done yet in your career that you want to do? A different type of music?
As of right now, I am also working on a gospel album. You see, I'm a cancer survivor. In 2020, I was diagnosed with lymphoma cancer, and I'm cancer-free right now, praise God, and
Great.
Thanks to MD Anderson in Houston. You get a second chance in life, and you come to realize that, don't sweat the small stuff, that it's the simple things in life that matter, making memories with your family, spending time with friends. And then when I went back in July 13 of last year, I was completely cancer-free.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yes, thank God. But yes, I think that I sing with more feeling. I value my time on stage and, on performing a lot more than I did before. Sometimes it, maybe 50% or more is just a job. But now for me, 100% of it is just being able to share my music with my audience, and it's just more sentimental.
So, to what extent do you credit Johnny Canales for where the music is today, and kind of its longevity today?
To a high extent, because, a lot of migrants that moved from Texas up north, they don't have their weekly Conjunto or Tejano dances. So where else are they going to get it but on TV? And so because of Johnny, that kept that connection with those Tejanos out there in up north, and it kept their, alegre. I mean, the happiness of their culture, alive and just can't think of the word, but something like it was a caring thing. It was it just touched the heart of many people out there that were still able to connect with their Texas Mexican American culture.
Last kind of question is, is there anything that you wish people understood about Conjunto?
I just wish that they would recognize it as much as they do Tejano, because it's very heartfelt. It's the struggles, that the Mexican American family, went through. It's just life as a Mexican American. And it has a lot of heart. It's humble. It's caring. It's loving. It's just, and it has a wonderful beat. I mean, the sound of the accordion and the bajo sexto, and it's just, please give us more credit, because it's very heartfelt music, and it's the passion, and it comes from the soul.
Frijolitos pintos, claveles morados, ay como sufren los enamorados. Mamacita linda, ahí viene Vicente, sácale un banquito para que se siente.
All right, that was my conversation with Linda Escobar. Thanks so much to Linda for joining me in the studio. And a special thanks to El Dusty for his studio space at Produce in Corpus Christi and for engineering the recording. I'll be back next week with Sonny Salceda, a hard-charging, redneck squeezebox Mexican, to quote one of his songs, who, after 40 years in Tejano music, has taken his talents and his accordion to Texas country music. We'll see you then. Adios. Viva Tejano is a Texas monthly podcast hosted by me, JV Salceda. Our executive producer is Megan Kripe. The show is produced by Ella Kapakin and Patrick Michaels, and produced and engineered by Brian Standifer. Additional production by Aisling Ayers. Consulting producer is Adrian Arredondo. A huge thanks to our partners, Mirna Perez and Adrian Arredondo, for access to the Johnny Canales Show archives. Keep an eye out for the upcoming documentary, Take It Away, which chronicles the rise and fall of Tejano Hollywood. Artwork is by Jen Hare-Tompkins and Victoria Milner. Thank you all for listening. Adios. And remember, you don't need to wait for next week to hear the next episode. Get early access now by becoming a Texas Monthly audio subscriber at texasmonthly.com/audio.